Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Kemi, and I'm here to talk about Beyond the Gates episode 124. Now, before we get into the review, make sure you guys are liking, commenting, and subscribing to my channel so you guys can get more reviews. Now, let's get into this episode. So, this was a good episode. A, a lot, but not a lot happened. But when I was taking my notes, it was a lot of stuff that happened. So we just gonna go ahead and get into it. So we start off the episode with Vernon talking to the assistant district attorney or deputy director or somebody like that at the FBI, and he's basically telling them they need more resources because Chelsea has been missing for a day and a half, and whenever it comes to missing people or what's going on with that? Sorry, missing people, the longer that they're missing, the harder it is to find them. So Bill comes like Vernon is going in the living room and Bill is coming out to go to the door. Haley's at the door. She had brought him a box that he had asked her to bring. So he asked her to bring the box because there was something in the box that he wanted to give to Danny. So Danny comes out and she's just like, "What's going on? Is everything okay?" And he was just like, "Everything's okay. I just wanted to give you this." And it's a picture that Chelsea had drew of her and Danny when she was younger. And he was just like, she's coming back. She's gonna come back to you, and you guys are gonna be able to hug and hold hands and do all that other stuff together or whatever. So they're hugging and Haley's just off in the back, sulking and looking or whatever. So we see, we go into the living room and Kat calls Anita, and then they're talking. Like she calls Anita to let them know. And so Anita calls on the FaceTime or the video call or whatever. And Kat is telling them that they may have found Chelsea. The service is bad, so it like goes in and out. And then she finally gets like to get a good connection, and she tells them that we found Chelsea and we're on our way to go there because we had seen Naomi. She was about to like check in with Jacob to see what the status was, if they heard anything. And then she had seen that he was in Virginia, and she was just like, "What's going on with that?" or whatever. So we cut to Allison and Chelsea, and again we're back where we left off, where Allison is basically telling Chelsea, "If I can't have you, then no one can have you," and she charges at her with the knife, and so they start to tussle. Then we see, so they're tussling. Then we see Ted and Eva. So he comes to see Eva to let her know, "Hey, I I did what you asked, and I got her to withdraw, so she's not gonna live there or whatever." And she's just like, "Well, I'm just happy that you got through to her, and was it complicated?" And he was just like, "It was just a little bit." She was like, "You know what? I don't even want to know. I'm just glad that you got through to her." So we cut to Leslie at Nicole's house, and she's telling her that Ted gave her the house, and Nicole was just like, "My Ted?" And I was just like, "Not my Ted." So Nicole like smirks, and she was just like, Ted doesn't own the house, so he can't give it away. Like the house is in my name, so Ted can't give it to you or anybody. And Leslie's face cracks. And so Nicole is just like, she lets her know that Ted played her and set her up to fall on her face, and Leslie's pissed. So we cut back to Kat telling the family about the cabin, and they're on their way there. And Vernon tells her to send the address, and then Jacob is just like, send him the address, and he's gonna give it to the FBI so he can send backup or whatever. So they're like getting ready to do all of that, and then they yelled, "Jacob, look out for the," and then the look out for the truck, and then the phone cuts out or whatever. So we get back to Chelsea and Allison, and they continue to tussle. We just continue to see them tussling. So they, going back and forth or whatever. So we cut back to Eva, and Ted, and she doesn't, she's basically telling him like, she doesn't know what he did to change her mom's mind, but she is very happy and she's thankful that he got involved. And she tells him, because he's telling her like, they're going through everything and this is the least I can do, and maybe they'll start to look at me differently and all this other stuff. And she was just like, well, maybe you can tell Nicole. And he was just like, yeah, Nicole probably already knows. And she was just like, what you mean? And he was just like, yeah, Nicole's in the middle of it. And she was just like, well, maybe you need to tell me what you did. And so Leslie comes and she's pissed. She comes over pissed. She's just like, I can't believe yo low down, yo worm of a father did. And she walks in and she sees Ted. And then she just like goes off on him or whatever. So we get back to Anita and them, and they're trying to get in touch with Kat and Jacob, but they can't. So they're just leaving messages, and Vernon and Anita are just like, okay, well, Vernon's like, I'm gonna call the FBI, and Anita is like, I'm gonna call the station to see if there's another way that they can track Jacob, because the last information they have was what of Jacob going, through the Find My Phone thingy or whatever, in the last location that she's seen or whatever. So Danny is like flustered, and she's like getting flustered, and Haley tries to calm her down, and she's just like, I can't do this, and she walks out. So Bill follows her, and then he comforts her, and they're hugging, and Haley is watching on the sidelines yet again. So Naomi is worried that something happened to Jacob, because the last they heard was that they were going to get into a car accident, that they may have gotten into a car accident. So they're all worried, and uh, Anita calms her down. So we go back to Chelsea, and she is finally using the advice that Bill gave her. She finally tussling well with that girl. She knocks the knife out of her hand, and they're like fighting or whatever. And Allison gets free, and Chelsea was just like, she was just like, come here. And she drags her by her shoe, and then she um like gets her in a headlock and takes the chain around her neck, and she's choking her. And it was just like, finally, Chelsea, finally. I mean, like okay, so we know it's only been like a day and a half that she's been gone, but because we've been watching it for so long, it feels like, girl, you should have been done did this. But I get it. She was trying to, but whatever. So she choking the girl. And Allison is just like, you won't do it, you won't do it. And Chelsea is just going for it, and Jacob comes in and stops her or whatever. And then he calls Kat and Madison to come in, and they go to Chelsea and comfort her. So we go back to Leslie and Ted and Eva, and Leslie can't believe that Ted would do this to her. And Eva's just like, what happened? And Ted tells her like, I made a fool out of her. And he was just like, I made a fool out of her. And then she was just like, well, how? Like, what happened? And Leslie was just like, he offered me his house. And Eve was just like, wait, what? Like, shocked. And Ted is just like, he calls her desperate and greedy and heartless and blind because she wanted to outdo Nicole after everything she cost him. Um, that's what he says. And that's when Leslie, like, he goes in on her, and that's when Leslie tells Eva that he offered her the house, and Eva's shocked, and Ted is just like, what would make you believe that? Like, why would you even believe that I would actually give you the house after I've told you that I don't want you? Like, I've told you multiple times that I don't want you. And she's just like mad because he was just like, you set me up and then you served me up to Nicole to deliver the knockout punch. And he tells her that, yeah, I mean, that's something that you would do. How you like them apples. And she can't believe that he did this to her, and that he did this as a gift to Nicole at her expense. And he's like, I want to know like, he was just like, after everything that you did, like, what's different? What's the difference between what you did to me and what you did with them? And then he goes in. He was just like, you could have called me at any time of at any time in Eva's life to let him know that he had a daughter, but you calculated, what did he say? Um, but you calculated for years and design. You calculated for years to and designed his downfall to hurt and humiliate Nicole. And she was an innocent person. She had nothing to do with it, and she did all of that just to hurt and humiliate Nicole. And she got a lot of nerve to be mad. So she walks away like crying. She walks away, and Eva's just like, why would she, like, she asked Ted, like, why would you do that? And she didn't ask for that. And he's just like, girl, okay. So we get back to Madison and Kat, and they're talking to Chelsea, and they're like, they talk her into going to get herself checked out because she didn't want to get checked out. And then she wants to know, how did y'all find me? So Kat tells her about the storage unit and reading the um, journals and finding out she inherited the cabin. That's how they found her. And so they ask like, what happened? And Chelsea's just like, 1 minute I was getting ready for the launch, and the next minute I woke up here with her chained to the bed. And she was just like it was two different people. Like, it was like two different people. She was either crazy as hell or thirsty as hell, and the only way that she could save her life was by marrying her. But she kept thinking of Madison. She kept thinking of Kat and the family and them telling her to fight, and that Allison almost turned her to an unaliver. Um, but Jacob stopped her. So Jacob wants to take Allison, um, to the car or whatever. And Chelsea stops her. And then Allison was just like, what, you're going to tell me that you hate me? And it's just like, girl, you cuffed right now. What is we on? So Chelsea says, no, I feel sorry for you. And that's the only thing that I'll ever feel for you. When I tell you, Alex's face is just like, oh no, like, I think I went too far. You think? Like, ma'am, you went way too far. So they take her away. So the family, they're still waiting on news. And Vernon gets a call from the FBI, and he's just like, wait, what? And then Anita gets a call from Kat. And so she tells them that they have Chelsea and they're headed to the hospital. So Danny and Bill leave. Like, they just get their stuff and just walk out. They didn't even want to hear nothing else. They just heard that she was going to the hospital, so they go into the hospital. So they leave, and Haley is running after them. Like, Bill is not paying that lady no mind. This episode is just like, girl, you should have dropped that box off and took your happy behind home, because you just look stupid. Oh man. So they go, and then the rest of the family, they're happy. Then they ask like, what happened? And Kat tells them like the service is spotty. That's why the phone cut out, and the way that Jacob was driving and them yelling, and it's just like a whole big thing, and that's what happened or whatever. So we get to the hospital, and everyone is waiting on Chelsea, and Danny is texting Nicole to let her know that, hey, we're at the hospital. And Naomi, like, because Naomi asked her like, what are you doing? And she was just like, I'm telling, I texted Nicole to let her know where we are, because I think Chelsea's going to need to talk to Nicole, or talk to someone because of what she went through. And it's just like, yeah, because Chelsea is not okay. She is not okay. But she comes in, like, she comes off the elevator with Jacob, Madison, and Kat. And she's in a wheelchair, and because they have to pull her in that way. And so she hugs every family member. Like, she hugs Danny, then she hugs Bill, then she hugs Naomi, then she hugs Vernon, and the last person she hugs is Anita, and Anita's like bawling, and she then hug Haley. So again, Haley is sitting in the corner looking a fool, watching her. Just a mess. So we get to Ted and Eva, and um Ted tells her, I did what you asked. Like, this is what you asked for. And she was just like, I didn't want you to humiliate her. I wanted peace. And she can't believe that he would do that to her. And he was just like, I did that to Leslie. He keeps calling her Dana. I did that to Dana Leslie. I ain't do that to you. And she was just like, you did it to my mom, so you did it to me. And he was just like, I did it for us. Like, after everything that Dana has done since she landed into town, nothing is compared to this. So he said, so what? She got her wig a little ruffled. I do it again in a heartbeat. And it was just like, exactly, like, Eva, like, ma'am, you and your mama came to town. Y'all injured this poor girl just so y'all can infiltrate Nicole's life, just so you can embarrass her and humiliate her in public for something that she had no control over. She didn't know about neither one of y'all. Your mama did all of that to embarrass that man and that woman, especially that woman, because she thinks that woman, Nicole, stole her man, your daddy, when it was the other way around. Your mama is the one that went and slept with a married man. And she is still continuously trying to get with this man who keeps telling her, I don't want you. I don't want nothing to do with you. You you ruined my life. And you really think that I would want to be with you? Girl. So Eva's just like, who are you right now? And um, he says, I was a man with a good life until Leslie decided to maliciously upend it, and she deserves nothing but the worst. And I'm like, finally. Ted is finally doing something. It's little, but he's doing something finally. Cause so Eva's mad that he hurt her mama, and she don't understand, or she can't believe that he would think that she would be okay with this, and she kicks him out. And I would have told him, if I was him, I would have said, you can't kick me out of someplace that I'm paying for. Matter of fact, you and your mama get out. I got some money. Y'all go find somewhere to stay. Cause guess what? After all of that your mama did to embarrass that woman, she kicked you out the house and you ran to your daddy for a place to stay. And now you all up under your mama after she has been giving you the Heisman this whole time. And you just been, mama, mama, mama. Yeah, okay, girl, whatever. So as he's walking out the door, he was just like, be careful what you ask for. And Leslie, after he walks out, Leslie comes and was just like, what did he mean by that? So we go back to Kat, Chelsea, and Madison, and they're in Madison's office. And because Chelsea didn't want to go to a hospital room, and Kat is telling Chelsea, like, you can only see a few people at a time because I don't want you to get overwhelmed and just too much while we waiting on a doctor. So Kat leaves, and Chelsea and Madison are there together, and Chelsea's just like, I don't want to see the doctor, why can't you be the one to look at me? And she's just like, the doctor is almost here, the waiting room is filled with press. And um Chelsea thanks her again for not putting her in a room, and she's just like, well, I don't want to be with anybody right now, I just want to be with you. And she's just like, we have a lifetime to be together, you need to like be with your family because they rallied when you were missing, like they want to be with you, so you gotta just be with them, just sit with them for a few minutes, it ain't that serious. So Kat goes out, like Kat had already left. So we go to the waiting room, and Danny is just like, what's taking so long? Like, what's taking so long? And the Kat comes out, she's just like, Aunt Danny, she's ready to see you. So she was just like, she takes off to go see her baby. And Bill starts to follow behind her, and Haley starts to follow. And Bill is just like, he hit her with the, it's gonna be too many people in the room. You chill out here. And it's just like, girl, this man has embarrassed you this whole episode and you are still sitting here. Girl, I would have been left. Like, girl, you already know where his heart is, where his family is, and it ain't with you. Girl. So Cat's just looking like, hmm? So she goes to Naomi, and Naomi is just like, okay, how's it looking? What do you think? And she's just like, she gonna have to she's looking okay, but she gonna have to, she gonna have to deal with some things. And so Anita was just like, okay, tell us everything, but before you start, she gives her a big hug and she's just like, thank you for finding our girl. And then she's like hugging her and crying or whatever. So we go to Bill and Danny in a room with Chelsea, and Bill is hugging her, and he was just like, I was worried. He was just like, this girl, like, what's wrong with her and all this other stuff. And um uh Chelsea is just like, she was stalking me for longer than I thought. And Bill is just like, man, I was worried about something like this happening when you first started modeling. And Danny was just like, not right now, not now, Bill. So he hugs her again, and he's just like, I'm happy that you have Madison. And Chelsea was just like, I was gonna tell you. And he was just like, I'm glad. And he was just like, but I'm happy that you're happy. And so she's happy about that. So Danny shows her the picture, and she was just like, you kept this? And he was just like, of course. And so she hugs Danny, and she's like, Bill is there, and he's like, like she's holding on to him or whatever. So it's like cute little family moment. So um we get to um Eva and her mama. So again, last we seen, Leslie had asked her what was he talk what did he mean by that, and she plays it off or whatever. And so here come Leslie playing a "woe is me" card, and Eva falls for it as always. And this scene, in my notes, I said, what pissed me off in this scene, besides the whole scene, was Eva saying when um Leslie was playing her "woe is me" card, and she was just like, I can't believe Ted would do that. He was so frustrated with her. And Nicole, like, because Nicole did all of these things. And I just thought that, I just thought. And then Eva was just like, he would finally see her the way that you did. And it was just like, your mama is crazy. What way did she see Nicole that was wrong? Like, that was true. Your mama is crazy. Like, what are we talking about right now? Like for real, what are we talking about? Like, and so Leslie was just like, I just want them to see me and take me seriously, and I want them to know that I'm somebody. And it's just like, girl, after all the things that you did, why do you why why do you expect these people to give a damn about you? You came first. And I can't even say in the beginning that you didn't know that this man was married or that he had somebody, because he used to bring Martin with him to see you. So you participated in having an affair with a married man who was bringing his child around you, and you wrapped it in your delusional mind that he was going to leave his wife for you. And when that didn't happen, you decided to not let him know that you were pregnant with his child. And like Anita said, you wielded your child as a weapon to go after Ted. But in actuality, you wielded her as a weapon to go after Nicole, because you wanted the life that she had. And you have always wanted the life that she had. And the fact that Eva is now like you acting like your mama isn't wrong for all that she's done. She kept your daddy away from you all your life. and lie to you about the reason why your daddy wasn't in your life, and you are actually acting like she was wrong, like she was the wronged party. She, you and her humiliated Nicole in public by airing out y'all's dirty laundry, because that wasn't Nicole's dirty laundry. That was y'all's and Ted's dirty laundry. And y'all actively humiliated Nicole in front of all of her family, friends, co-workers, almost everybody that she knew. And you mad that he humiliated your mama in private and you don't know who he is? Something wrong with y'all. Something is actively wrong with y'all. So we go to we see Ted, and Ted is at the house. He goes to see Nicole, and he lets her know that the house across the street is no longer up for sale. Dana, Leslie, whatever, she withdrew her bid because she really thought that he was gonna give her the house. So he was just like, that house is no longer available to her. He did all of that while he dealt with the paperwork for this house. So I'm guessing in that time frame that Eva asked him to talk to her mama. He came up with the plan in his head in, I guess, not even a day, but a couple of hours. So he signed over the house to Nicole and had it notarized to her so that it would only be for her. And then he went to Dana and told Dana he would give her the house. And he made sure that Dana withdrew the offer on the other house and spoke with them so that they wouldn't take the offer again, because it's just like she's withdrawing, like, she lying about trying to be here. So that's why I don't know, as convoluted as it sounds is how it is, because I don't understand, because all of that happened in less than 5 minutes, like from when he told her to when she showed up at the house to come and stake claim. So it's just like, when did she withdraw the offer? Like, yeah. So apparently she can't get that house, the house across the street from Anita and them, and she can't get this house because it's in Nicole's name. So she thanks him, and then she says she was just like, she can't understand him right now, because 1 minute he's serving her with papers saying like he's going to contest the divorce and he wants to do this, and she feels like they're going to battle, and then the next thing he does this where he's giving her the house and he's setting up Leslie, and she doesn't understand, but she thanks him nonetheless. And he was just like, your family's going through a lot right now. I wasn't trying to have y'all dealing with all this. I wasn't trying to have you dealing with all this other stuff. And I'm just glad that Chelsea's found. So Nicole again thanks him. And then she was just like, I have to go to the hospital. And she was just like, do you want to come? And he was just like, where? And she was just she was just like, to the hospital. You were part of this family for a long time. I know you're just as relieved to see Chelsea. And he was just like, yeah. So they go to the hospital. So we're back at the hospital and we see Naomi. She's like walking. She's trying to make a phone call because Jacob texts her. So she's trying to call him. And Haley stops her. And she's just like, I'm so happy that, she was found. And Naomi's just like, thanks. And she tries to walk away. And Haley stops her again, and she was just like, with all the things that's going on, everyone's guards was dropped, and I feel like it made us closer. And Naomi was just like, girl, stop. She was just like, I see what you're doing. And she was just like, and what is that? What is that you see? What is what is it that you think I'm doing? And Naomi said, your husband is still in there with my mom and Chelsea. And I was just like, ooh, not your husband. She didn't even say my dad. She said, your husband. She said, your husband is still in there with my mom and Chelsea, and you're feeling left out. You're feeling left out, and you're looking for an ally. And I'm sorry. Um, and she says, I'm sorry that all of this made you feel insecure about your place in our lives, but I'm not your way back in. Naomi will forever have her foot on Haley's neck, and I need it to be that way. I need her and um Danny to always have their foot on Haley's neck at all times. All times. So Haley says, well, situations like this brings us closer. Like it should bring people closer. And Naomi was just like, I ain't that girl. Like, sorry, but I'm not the girl. I ain't that girl for you. So Haley walks off. So then Danny and Bill come out and they tell Vernon and Anita that they can go in and see them to go see Chelsea. So Bill wonders where Haley is at. And he was just like, I guess I gotta go look for her. And it was just like, you guess. Yeah, I guess. So Danny thanks him for being there, and he was just like, "Thank you for letting me." And then they go their separate ways or whatever. They so getting back together. I can't wait. So we see Vernon and Anita with Chelsea, and they're hugging her, and Vernon is letting her know that Allison can't get nowhere near her. And Anita's just like, whatever you need, let us know. We will help you. And Chelsea can't get back on track. And she was just like, no, I got to do this on my own. I gotta pick myself up and do this on my own. And they're just like, that's the Dupree way. And so they're happy and they're proud of her. So we go to another Eva and Leslie scene. And again, this one pissed me off too. So Eva's just like, they have their fixer, and I'm gonna be your fixer, and I'm gonna be with you to the end, and I'm gonna be on the front line with you, and you have a right to live wherever you want to live, and the money you have is because Anita cut that band member out of her group. And I was just like, watch your mouth, because you don't know what happened. And exactly, the money that your mama has is because Anita made sure to see fit that Barbara's kin was going to be set. So if you want to put it like that, yes, that's why she got that money. But girl, you doing absolutely too much for a woman who kicked you out her house after she played you as a fiddle and got you dragged up and down these streets. And you really got off scot-free on that, honestly. You really did, because you wasn't dragged enough for me by all them people in this town. The only people that dragged you is Anita, and she barely dragged you. She just told you that you would never be accepted in her family, and you should never be accepted into her family because you're not a part of her family at the end of the day. So it's like, and Kat and Kat should forever have her foot on your neck, because everything she has said about you has been true, and you proven her right every time. Every time you prove her right, because you are your mama. You think that something is owed to you when it's not. Nothing is owed to you. If anything is owed to you, it's by your mama. The Duprees don't owe you nothing, because they didn't do nothing to you. That was your mama. Your mama is the one who kept you away from that man all this time, all these years. She is the reason why you don't have a relationship like that with your dad. And if she would have brought you around sooner, you may have had a relationship with the rest of them. You may. Can't guarantee, but you may have. But no, all this that y'all acting like right now, like they owe you something, they don't owe you nothing. They didn't do nothing to y'all. Y'all came in with a vendetta against them, and they don't even think about you. They don't think about y'all at all. So we go back to the hospital, and we see Nicole. She gets to the hospital with Ted, and he's standing in a corner, just like Haley was. So Nicole goes to Danny, and she talks with Danny and Kat, and she hugs Kat, calling her amateur cop or her amateur sleuth or whatever, and she's proud of her. Then we see Naomi and Chelsea, and they're talking together, and Madison comes in, and Chelsea gets up to leave, and they're just like, no, 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 you don't have to leave. And she'll just like, y'all some lying little girls. But I'm gonna let y'all be with each other because y'all been waiting to be by yourself. So I'm gonna let y'all be by yourself. So she hugs Madison and she thanks her for being there for her sister and putting herself on the front line to find her sister. So we see Madison, Naomi leaves and Madison tells Chelsea that the doctor is ready to see her. And Chelsea was just like, you can't do the exam. And she was just like, no, I'm too close to the situation. I won't be effective. So you need to see somebody else, which is true. Like, girl, she not gonna be able to examine you the way she needs to examine you because she's like worried about you. So and they hug and they kiss and they say I love you. I'm sorry, they say I love you, then they kiss and then they hug, and then you see Chelsea and she just looks like yes, she gonna need to talk to some people because all of this stuff is really gonna. I think this is she ain't gonna be the Chelsea that we grown accustomed to. She gonna be a little bit more harder, I think. But yes, that was the episode. Again, I like this episode, and it really, like, Eva and Leslie really boiled my, like, they irritated me so much this episode. I was just like, I had to come and talk about it because I was so irritated. But let me know what you guys think. Get down in the comments. Tell me what you thought of this episode, and make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.